Luke and I'm always on the hunt for an exciting mission. They say that money can only fill your pockets, but sharing an adventure can fill your soul. So join me on my pursuit to find my next epic adventure. I'm in Antalya, Turkey, and I'm sailing the vessel Genie back to Oman. So we're pretty close to leaving Antalya. Weather's not looking fantastic. We're loading some fresh water. We're all checked out of the country. We just have to check out of the marina, go across to the fuel, load some fuel, and then we are good to go. So on deck we have extra fuel, this side and that, 60 liters each side, that's 120 liters on deck, and then we have more fuel up front. So we've loaded fuel, 340 liters. That for obviously big boats and that is nothing. But we put 104 liters in the main tank, which was full in finicky. So in just basic lube calculation, lube maths, this boat is using about just over 1 liter per mile on motor. Well, that's that. Antalya finished. We've just finished our fuel. It's a little hairy, like you have to dock in with a lot of wind into a big concrete jetty. Not easy. A little boat like this with a weak motor and weaker bow thruster, it's threading a needle. So we're just getting things stowed away, fenders lashed down, and we're done. We're out of here. We've got 200 nautical miles to go to Cyprus, which is a night, a full day and another night. About 42 hours of sailing, 40 hours, depending on the wind. We're full of fuel, full of food, full of booze, full of gears. Well, we're in Cyprus. We're about 35 miles away from Limassol Marina. Behind me is Paphos. And to seaward is this beautiful sunset. And I'm quite excited to see a little bit, even though we're not going to see much of it. We're just checking in. We're not allowed to go ashore. We have to stay on the boat, because we're not actually checking into the country, we're just loading provisions and going to Suez. But we're here and we're tired, but we're coming in. Let me show you. I was up all night bringing this boat in, but really happy. Look where we are, it's amazing. We just loaded some fuel. We're going to go to our dock. We're literally going to be the smallest boat ever on this dock. We're docking on the biggest, with the biggest boats. Today we're leaving Cyprus. Yeah. Limassol, Cyprus, and we're going to sail south to Port Said, Egypt, to start our Suez Canal quest to get onto the other side of the world, from the Mediterranean Sea into the Red Sea. And so we leave Cyprus. Goodbye to modern marinas until we get back to Oman. Next stop, Port Said, Egypt, to do our Suez Canal crossing. What you have to look? Trying to cook us a meal for the passage. We like to cook before we go on passage, so that it's easy for us. A nice big meal. We're going to do a chicken stew, like an Irish chicken stew. That's going to be like. Eugene has made some fresh bread with honey and cheese on it. So good. Good morning. It's sunrise, 6 a.m. We're somewhere between Cyprus and Port Said, Egypt. Actually, we're about halfway. We've done 113 miles. It's a 200-mile trip, so we're about halfway. We've had a few tiny little issues on the boat. I mean, really nothing to speak of, nothing serious, but might as well mention them. Our transponder on our Ray Marine system keeps going on and off, so we lose GPS signal every now and then. I had the furler sort of kinked and sort of stuck. We have a furling mainsail, which means the sail actually fills and rolls up into the actual mast, and that sort of got stuck, and I've had to sort of pull it all out and tighten it all up and now furl it all back.
Yum yum.
How's things with you?
Very good, thanks.
Yeah, we're
Nothing
almost
to
there.
complain about. Yeah, 70 miles.
Yeah, 68 miles to go to Port Said, and then we can start our Suez Canal crossing. Right, we are entering Port Said. It's pretty tricky work as we're doing it at night. It's very dense traffic. The Suez Canal has been extremely busy over the last week. Very heavy, dense cargo, dense ships. The weather is bad. We've got 35 knots of wind, and it's a little tricky. Port Said entrance was probably one of the hardest port entries I've ever done. We had 46 knots of wind at one stage. The densest traffic I've ever been around. I had 60 targets on the radar and I was only scanning at about 6 miles. The pilots came alongside and they telling us, we want present, we want present, we want this, we want that. And actually the pilot boat came alongside me and was pushing me into the starboard, off the starboard channel. With a bit of screaming and shouting, we managed to get the pilot on board. And once the pilot was on board, he was great. He helped us into sort of the yacht club, it's called, but it's just a concrete jetty and it's filthy dirty. But we're here, we're in Egypt, we're alongside, we've spoken to our agent, he'll be here in the morning, and we'll start our Suez Canal southbound voyage tomorrow. Okay, I've been asked to try and quickly explain to you how the procedures work for the Suez Canal. We're obviously going southbound, so we're entering Port Said from the north. When you do enter from the north, the northern anchorage and the northern traffic separation schemes and the port entry is very tricky. There's always a lot of wind, so you got to be really careful, and there's a lot of dense traffic. All the traffic moving around there is heavy. So imagine trying to land a microlight at Heathrow Airport. That's basically the analogy that I've been using. You need to call 2 hours in advance, then you meet at the to port control, then you meet at the fairway buoy and they guide you in. When the pilots do come alongside, they come alongside of the boat, they're very aggressive and they're very intense. Basically they say present, 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 we want present. They basically want cigarettes and alcohol and money. Try to avoid that. Give them whatever you can if you really do want to. And once you got your pilot on board, he'll bring you into the yacht club, which is this behind me. It's not a yacht club, it's just a concrete berth that at some point in the 70s was something. Once you're in Port Said, you pay, it's somewhere between $1,500 and $3,000 for your transit. You got to clear in with immigrations, the doctors, the quarantine doctors, and the customs. If there is a military vessel going through the canal, no yachts, no pleasure craft can go through that day. The things they check from a master perspective, they check your air draft, which means the total height of the vessel, including your freeboard, including your mast and antennas, because there are bridges that you have to go under. With small pleasure craft, it's not an issue. I've heard guys checking in with 38, 40 meters in terms of massive container ships. But have all your details of the vessel ready. Things like forward and aft draft. If you are a yacht, you just say your maximum draft and you say even keel, which means the boat is even throughout in terms of its draft. Your air draft, your gross tonnage, your beam, your length overall, how many crew members on board, what nationality is the flag, your registration number, your IMSS, your MMSI numbers, your call signs. Have all of that stuff ready because they do ask for it. In these channels, as you can see behind me, there's very large traffic, very, very big, heavy gross tonnage traffic. You got to be really aware, especially with the smaller vessels. I mean, they're still big compared to us, but they move very fast and they create a huge wake. On the entrance of Port Said, we had 42 knots of wind. It's not so much the wind, but be careful with the tide coming in. We had 6.5 knots of current ripping around the corner, and it almost pulled us off the channel. Morning, yes. A bit of a rude awakening. We were told 5:30 and he arrived at 10 to 5.
Yeah.
So we basically got chased out of bed by the pilots, which is, we took beds this morning whether they'll be on time or not. So it's sunrise, it's ice cold. We're in the beginning of the channel. We just left Port Said. We've got 38 miles to Ismailia, and we're doing well. Leaving Ismailia, the halfway point in the Suez. We've got our new pilot with us, Mr. Ahmed, and hopefully we'll be out in the Gulf of Suez this evening. And so behind me is the largest dredger in the Middle East and the biggest tug in the Suez. These were called out to help the Ever-Given when she was stuck in the canal. And behind us you can see the Ever-Given. Probably the most well-known ship in the world today, or should I say the most unpopular ship in the world today. So this is my friend, our pilot. How are you, my friend?
I am fine.
You're good?
You are good.
His English is a little bit, but he's a brilliant pilot.
Thank you very
And he's
much.
my friend now.
Thank you very much.
And he will watch our videos, huh?
yes, I will watch these videos in your YouTube channel.
Okay, excellent.
And I hope you have a good trip and a nice time in Suez Canal. And
Thank you.
I invite all people to visit Egypt.
Okay.
And visit Suez Canal. All things is okay.
Okay, excellent. Right, we have done it. The Suez Canal is over. This is the Port of Suez behind me, and we have done it. Sailing Genie did great. Everybody did great. We're going to anchor out here in the Bay of Suez for the night to get some rest. We are all shattered, and then tomorrow we're going to make our way down to Hurghada. But I've got to go and find a little anchoring spot now here near a place called Green Island. I've been at the helm for 15 hours today. I am wrecked.